going on? It's been a little minute. It's your boy Nate Boso. Just posting a video giving a quick little update on my CDL status. So um, I finished my class. A couple weeks ago, and so I've completed all my hours needed, classroom hours, practice time, and I just tested on today. Well, this video is gonna be posted up probably today, or I may post it today. I don't know, but I tested today, and unfortunately, I failed a portion of the the practice. So I don't know how your CDL school may work, or other CDL schools have worked in the past, but pretty much the way my school works is it's three parts. You got your pre-trip, you got your maneuvers, and you got your over the road. So I passed the pre-trip, I passed the maneuvers, and I failed the over the road, man. Um, but I know exactly what I did wrong and what I need to do to correct those mistakes. So right now is a prime time because my school is in between classes, so it's not like I have to wait to test again. So I'm gonna retest next week, next Thursday, and practice all this week. I'm gonna probably practice Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then maybe try to get some practice in during the week as well over the road. So I'm just focused on that because I passed the other two sections. Um, so pretty much the way it happened is looking back, I know where I made mistakes at. Um, I'm pretty confident over the road, but I'm not. I just need more practice time. I think I got nervous. Well, I know that I got nervous, and maybe I wanted it too bad. But I got nervous with the instructor, and I had no problem upshifting. Everything's fine. No problem making turns. No problem stopping in front of the stop sign. So these are all things that you're gonna want to pay attention to when you're testing and you're working on getting your CDL. Because sometimes we drive differently in our personal vehicles than in that truck. So it's always important to stop in front of the stop sign prior to the stop bar. So when you stop, you should be able to see the stop bar out in front of your semi. And when you're making turns, you want to make your turns wide, and you want to use your fender mirrors to look at the back of that trailer, or your small mirrors on the sides, the lower ones, to look at that trailer and make sure that it's trailing behind you and it's not going to run up on the curb. Um, so, and then also downshifting, or when you're shifting in general, you don't want to sit on the clutch. So one thing that I was doing is, I don't know how I forgot, but when you upshifting, you want to shift at 1500 RPMs, and then when you downshifting, you want to break it down to 1000 RPMs, and clutch in, bring it out of gear, give it a shot of fuel, clutch in to the next lower gear that you're trying to go into. So what I was doing, I was clutching it, clutching, bringing it out of gear, and while it was in neutral, I was giving it a shot of fuel, but I still had my foot hovering on the clutch. So I still had the clutch engaged as I was giving it a shot of fuel, and then I would press the clutch in more, thinking, oh, I'm coming off the clutch, but really I still have my foot with the clutch kind of engaged, if that makes sense. So let's say this is the clutch, right? And this is where it's at. I'm clutching and coming out into neutral, and I'm coming off of it, but I'm not coming fully off of it. So I still had the clutch kind of pressed down. So the clutch is still engaged, and I'm pressing the clutch down further and trying to go into that gear, and it's doing all that. And then I just got flustered, and I'm coasting out of gear. So that's a big no-no. That's an automatic fail. If you coasting out of gear. So that's something that I did. I did it a couple times, man, and it's crazy because I never had that issue while I was practicing over the road with the instructors. And I think too, so the instructor that tests you when it's test day is different than the instructors that's with you throughout the class. So I think in my head, I just kind of psych myself out, and I'm nervous around this guy because I'm not normally around him, and this is test day. Like, this is where the rubber meets the road. So just little things like that I know that I need to correct. And there was one particular time, this is how I actually failed. So I'm coming down the hill, and he tells me you're gonna make a right hand turn. All right, so I clutch in, I'm downshifting, and in the last shift, I'm overthinking it because I'm like, man, what I'm gonna do if I mess up? I'm already thinking in my head about messing up instead of just getting in there, so I'm not fully confident. I downshifted from 8 to 7, right? And then I tried to downshift from 7 to 6, and I left my foot on the clutch. I didn't come off the clutch all the way, so it wouldn't go into gear. So I coasted out of gear all the way to the stop, trying to give it a shot of fuel, but my foot steady is hanging on to that clutch, so it's not gonna go in gear. So I bring it to a stop, and I'm all flustered. A dump truck comes by me. He flies by me because I'm stopped. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna reset to third gear. So what I did was I put that joint in. I came to a stop and just put that joint in gear without flipping the selector back down. So my selector is still flipped up. So when I'm trying to put it in third gear, I'm actually going into 8th gear. So when I came off of that clutch, as soon as I came off of it, I wasn't giving it enough gas, and really, I don't know if I could have gave it enough gas. Probably I could have, for it to go from a dead stop in 8th gear. I don't think that's possible. Anybody can comment below and let me know. But I mean, I wouldn't have had any power. But I stalled out. Came out, put it in neutral, turned that joint back on, actually flipped the switch, put it in third gear, and came off the clutch, started going. And at that time, I was so messed up, so I didn't turn late. So I start turning too soon. I'm thinking I'm in the car. I'm not focused on what I should be focused on, because I done floated out of gear, I done stalled out, like I'm all discombobulated. So I ran up onto the curb as I'm making the turn. It wasn't a lot, but it was ever so slightly. So the instructor, he let me get on the interstate. He let me continue. He let me drive all the way back to we almost got back to the school, drove back on the interstate, got off on the exit, and then I'm all messed up because I'm already in my head. I'm like, man, I don't know how you failed this joint, man. Like I'm just overthinking it. I'm in my own way. So I did it again, floated out of gear, man, trying to downshift, and I'm not coming all the way off the clutch. So he was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and take over. So it wasn't a win for me. It was a partial win. You know, I got 2/3 done of the test, so I don't have to go back and do or redo anything. But in our heads, we want to complete. In my head, it's like, man, I want to complete this thing the first time. But I'm at the age to know, like, is there are things to learn in all your losses. All your losses are lessons. So I believe that all of my losses are lessons, and there was the lesson that I learned is what I just talked about. You can't sit on that clutch. So that may have to do with your seat positioning. It may have to do with a lot of things that you're doing wrong. So when I practice, I'm a kind of do that, reposition my seat and different things. But I'm definitely not gonna sit on that clutch now. Um, Make sure when you downshifting, you bringing that joint down to 1,000 RPMs. When you upshifting, 1,500 RPMs. Um, Make sure you're not trying to give it gas while you clutching in. You can't have your foot on the clutch and giving it gas at the same time while you upshifting. Come all the way off the gas, like when you downshifting and you giving it gas, come all the way off the clutch. Don't ride the clutch in any way. Use the clutch when you need it, but don't ride the clutch. Um, Make sure you uh, go straight, turn late. Make sure that you stop in front of all stop signs, and also make sure you're paying attention to your signs. So a couple things he did, which wasn't a fail, he just randomly was like, "What was that sign What was that yellow sign that we just passed?" And I'm like, "Shit, I don't know." And we did it on the way to. And on the way back, he asked me the same question. What was that sign that we just passed? That yellow sign. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. I tried to guess the first time. I said it was a deer sign. He said, no, it was a helicopter sign. I was just kind of like you picked the most random sign, a helicopter sign. Like, what? Who cares about the helicopter? But what he said after that, he's like, you gotta be paying attention to the signs because, there may be a low clearance sign, and you don't want to miss that sign because you run up under a bridge and you tear the truck up doing that. So um, there's a lot that comes with driving semis, and when you're in a stick shift, it may take you a little bit longer to get it versus the automatic. But I think that I actually like stick shifts because it challenges you to focus on what's going on around you and to focus on the truck itself. You're in control of what that truck is doing, but if you do something wrong, that truck is going to definitely show you who's truly in control. Um, but if you do the right things, you'll see it's such a good feeling when you go in gear and you do things properly. How much how easy it can be. But when you messing up, it's like that truck gonna show you. It's like, hey, you ain't do something right. So, yep, I made a few mistakes, and I have to retest. Like I said on Thursday, but I have some more time to practice, and I'm encouraged because hey, I made it this far. I'm still blessed. Like I said, all of my losses are lessons, and I'm still thankful for the opportunity, and I know that I'm gonna get it. I just need more practice, and there's certain things I need to learn. Maybe if I got it today, then I wouldn't be as humble as I am now. So that truck will definitely humble you, and it'll teach you some lessons, but good lessons that you need to learn, and just don't just stay encouraged and don't quit on yourself. So I'll keep you guys updated as we continue going. happy holidays to everybody out there that's watching this. And I'll catch y'all on the flip side.